Sunday's weather mostly sunny and hot with a high of 90. Sunday night only down to 70 degrees for an overnight low with clear skies. Monday mostly sunny and hot with a high near 91. Monday night clouds roll in. There's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Tuesday 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms all day, mostly cloudy and 86. Tuesday night another chance of showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday partly sunny with a high of 85. Thursday partly sunny and a high of 81. And Friday mostly cloudy skies with a high of 78 degrees. Currently outside our Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio here on Park Avenue in Woonsocket, it's 67 degrees.
WOON Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with my co-host Pat Holland. Happy 4th of July weekend. Happy Independence Day. Pat, big long weekend for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything fun?
No.
No, good.
Trying to keep my dogs.
Safe and sane, or?
Yeah. The fireworks just do them in. And
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in Rhode Island, it's like every day is July 4th. So.
Oh yeah, no, the semi-private firework displays that are going on.
The amateur fire specialists.
Are you do you live close to the big display that would freak out the dogs, or just the amateurs?
Well, Oakland Beach is probably the closest to us.
Okay.
But they did it They did it the night before, and I guess they're doing it tonight.
Oh, okay.
Because of the rain. Yeah.
Oh, the whole rain thing.
But it's all the amateur people.
Oh, yeah.
Just around us. It's like.
Yeah, they were going off at around 11:15 the other night.
Ours started at like 7. I'm like, it's light
7.
out. What are you doing?
You're missing the whole display.
No rhyme or reason.
All right, how'd you survive those storms? Or that big storm the other day? Did you get 2 inches of hail like people did in Foster?
Yeah, right. No hail, just lots of small branches and leaves down. But
Yeah.
it was pretty quick and insane. It got dark quick, and
Yes.
the wind picked up, and it was like, whoa.
We were driving from Warren back to Attleboro, and we saw at least 50 trees down on the way back. It was crazy. Attleboro didn't get hit that bad, not compared to some other parts of the state, but wow. But all right, so we're here. We're in the cheap seats. We want you to join us. We're going to do our regular format. But if you got any thoughts on anything right now, and now's the best time for you to call. Give us a call now if you want. 401-766-1240 here in the cheap seats. And what are your thoughts on anything going on in the world of sports? Rhode Island, New England, National. Joey the Chestnut guy is back on top with the hot dogs. I've never watched one of those, but I know who he is. And I guess
71 hot dogs.
And how long? Do you know?
I think they get, I don't know.
5 minutes?
I usually watch it every year. I missed it yesterday, but 71 hot dogs, but he had a penalty, so it's really 70.5.
I'll take
I
your
think
word
he
for
won
it.
by
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay.
So that's not even close.
That's I know he got banned from 1 year for some sort of corporate thing. It's
He got sponsored by a different hot
a
brand.
different hot dog brand.
So.
All right, that's so that's right. You tune into the cheap seats. You got hot dog talk.
Yeah.
You got Red Sox talk. And let's jump in locally. We got the Newport Gulls currently in first place in the NECBL, the New England Collegiate Baseball League, in the South Division with an 18-7 record. They have won 5 in a row in 11 of their last 12 games. Last night at Cardines Field, they beat the first place team in the North Division, Keene, by a score of 8-5 in a 3,000-seat stadium. Attendance last night, 2,889. The Gulls will be home Monday and Wednesday this week, with both games beginning at 6:30 at Cardines Field.
Yeah, the other Rhode Island entry in the NECBL, the Ocean State Waves, are currently 11-12 on the season. 6 games back of the Gulls. They dropped a 12-4 decision to the Sanford Mariners.
They're the Mainers.
Oh.
Is that right, Mariners?
The Mainers. No, you didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
read Mariners.
Yeah.
The Mainers, whatever that is.
Someone
In
from
Maine
Maine.
last night, 12-4. Waves return home to Old Mountain Field, which I believe is in South Kingstown.
South Kingstown, yes. I haven't been to that field yet.
Tuesday night at 6:30.
Interesting thing about the Sanford Mainers, my son was playing for the Mystic Schooners a couple of years ago. They had a playoff game up in Sanford, went to the field, real cool field. They have a plaque there that right before Babe Ruth got released, he was on a barnstorming team that played in Sanford. His last game in a Boston Red Sox uniform was played in Sanford, Maine. That's their claim to fame. And really cool stadium, kind of like one of those old, Cardines Field type type of stadium. So pretty cool
That is
there up in Sanford, Maine. All right, last Saturday to be exact, at Centerville Bank Stadium in Pawtucket, congratulations are in order to the New England Free Jacks of Major League Rugby for beating the Houston SaberCats and becoming the first ever three-time champion of Major League Rugby with a 28-22 victory over the SaberCats in front of just over 5,700 fans. They three-peated. They were tied with Seattle for 2 championships. They have now three-peated. They play in Quincy in a 5,000-seat stadium. They got just over that at Centerville Bank Stadium. Congratulations. I'm not a big rugby guy, but anytime you do something at the major league level and three-peat, congratulations to the Free Jacks.
Yeah, I watched it. It was actually I watched the second half, I believe it was. So
Yep.
interesting. It's definitely interesting to watch. So
Yeah, for
and
sure.
like as we say all the time, I'll watch anything. So.
And it looked like they had the lower bowl, so I don't think they were selling out the upper seats because you could clearly read RIFC
Right.
on TV. I guess I tuned in for a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So to see that.
And let's see, RFC is playing for the first time in just over a week. They host Birmingham Legion FC for a game that kicks off at 7 p.m. tonight at Centerville Bank Stadium. That will be followed by the Pawtucket Fireworks Show. Through 14 games, RFC currently sits in 8th place with 4 wins, 3 draws, 7 losses.
And I think, what is it, top 8 make the playoffs in each conference? Trying to remember back from last year.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. The Woo Sox, losers last night, 4-0 at Syracuse, will stay in Syracuse through the weekend before heading out to Rochester for a 6-game series. There'll be a midseason break. Then the Woo Sox will be home for just a 3-game series, Friday through Sunday, July 18th, 19th, and 20th, before finally coming back for a long homestand, which will run July 29th to August 10th. Worcester finished, I forgot that they did this, and I saw it today in the standings. They finished the first half of their season in 4th place with a 41-33 record, 5.5 games out of first. They've actually started their second half of the season, and when it comes to playoffs, they'll take like the first place winners from each. So they finished 5.5 games out of first. The problem now with the Woo Sox, they're 6 games out of first place already in the second half of the season. They're off to a 2-8 start right now. So off to a tough start in every game on the road. Christian Campbell, for those that are wondering, in 11 games, still hitting about 250 actually is hitting 250 with a 449 on base percentage. In 5 games at first, he has not recorded an error yet. I think those numbers are up. I think he's played 2 more games at first than when we last reported. Masataka Yoshida is on a 2-game rehab so far with the Woo Sox. He's 1 for 5 with a walk. And of great concern, and we can maybe get into this a little bit later, Tanner Houck, who was pitching absolutely awful for Boston, then inexplicably ends up on the IL, and is now in 3 starts, is 0-3 in 6 1/3 innings with a 12.79 ERA. His whip is also like, 2.7 or 2.6, something like that. Something crazy bad. Anything over 2 is crazy bad, and 1.8 or higher is not good. And he's a full number over that. So so Tanner Houck, I don't know if you're counting on him in the second half of the season, Red Sox fans. I don't know.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good right now. So that's for sure.
And the U.S. men's national team goes for gold tomorrow night in men's soccer as they take on Mexico in the CONCACAF Gold Cup Championship game at 7 p.m. USA 2-1 winners over Guatemala the other night behind 2 goals from Diego Luna.
Did you watch?
I did.
And your thoughts on the team? I watched a little bit of it on tape delay, and I watched the game against Costa Rica. Your thoughts?
They're obviously playing all the younger guys. They come out quick. I think my own personal opinion is I think they wait too long to start to sub players.
Okay.
But they're playing okay. They're playing. This is a big game for them.
I did watch the Costa Rica game in more detail, and I was nervous in that game. They missed a penalty kick early. Then the game came down to penalty kicks. Yeah. And they missed one where Freeze had made, the goalie for USA, had made 3 consecutive saves on penalty kicks, which is absurd. And the ones he missed, it tipped off his fingers. I mean, he guessed right like 5 or 6 times in a row. I've never seen anything like that in soccer.
Even the one that was right down the middle, which typically goalies never make that save.
Yeah, he held it. He held his
He
spot.
stood right there.
It was crazy. So I guess that's the right pick in net over Turner, right? Freeze is a better goalie than Matt Turner.
Well, yeah,
right
I mean, Matt Turner hasn't played much over in Europe this past year, so I think that probably is why he's not playing right now. But yeah, Freeze has played well.
Yeah. So, all right. So interesting. Yeah, as you mentioned, they're going to play Mexico. Do you remember what that game in Houston or? It's in the United States. I know that.
I think they just played in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We'll look it up
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. All right. So sticking with soccer, finishing up, the New England Revolution return to action tonight at 10:30. They'll head out to Oregon to take on Portland. Game time 10:30. The Revs are going to start need to make a push. They kind of blew a 3-game homestand. They had a real tough schedule. They were looking to come home and do something at home, and I think they went 0-2-1 when they were at home. They sit in 11th place in their division with 24 points, 16 points behind first place Philadelphia. I think they're 6-6-6, so it's at 18. I think, what do they play? Do they play a 36-game schedule? Do you know? 40?
Right around there.
Yeah, so they're about halfway through their season. So they're going to have to make a push now because I don't think they're in a playoff spot right now.
Just outside of it.
Yeah.
One last soccer mention. Liverpool FC player Diogo Jota
Yes.
tragically killed in a car accident on July 3rd with his brother. He's a 28-year-old star player for Liverpool. Fenway Sporting Group has already come out and said they are going to pay off the rest of his contract and fund his children's education moving forward. So just a terrible tragedy over in Europe.
My understanding, too, is he just got married 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
So it's...
Yes.
Yeah, just
tragic.
Horrible situation there. Good of the Fenway Sport Group. We don't talk highly of the Fenway Sport Group headed by John Henry all that often. So to do a nice thing like that, to honor the contract and support kids' education and everything that you just mentioned. So, all right, good for them. Tragic, yeah. Just a car accident, not just a car accident, but
yes.
a car accident, right?
Yep.
So. And his brother?
His brother was in the car. Both
passed away?
Both died.
Jeez, it's almost like the Goodrow's sad situation in a way. So, okay. So, all right. When we come back, we're gonna take our first break right now. The phone lines are open: 401-766-1240. What's on your mind? Did the Bruins? Did they do enough? Did they do too much? Signing somebody to a 5-year contract. The Celtics, what do you think with their losses this week? The Red Sox, every week, a little bit different. Last week they were on a 6-game losing streak. Now they're on a little bit of an upswing, though they should have taken Game 3 from the Reds the other day. They blew a 3-0 lead. You got some thoughts on the Patriots. Joey Chestnut and his hot dogs. The American struggles in Wimbledon. Everything's on the table. Give us a call. Join us in the cheap seats at 401-766-1240. You are listening on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Invista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC.
At North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, you'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who'll diagnose your minor illness or injury. Their services include treatment for flu, fractures, rashes, ITU infections, and work-related injuries, plus physicals, vaccinations, and drug screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, Wake Robin Road, Lincoln. X-ray and lab on premises.
Appreciate your customers, then give them the best job possible. That's been their motto at Michaud's Auto Body since 1948. They have continually invested in the newest and best frame unibody equipment available, as well as color matching techniques. Michaud's Auto Body is a certified Class A facility where all collision repairs are 100% guaranteed. Michaud's Auto Body at 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
We're always here for you. ON Radio.
And welcome back to the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. We're going to go right to the phone lines. I think we've got Greg from Esquamicut, our Division III college wrestling expert. Let's see what's on Greg's mind. Greg, you there?
I'm here. How are you doing? Great show.
Oh, thank you. It's I don't know if you caught the intro. We introduced you as our Division III college wrestling expert. You here to talk Joey Chestnut and his hot dogs, or you got something else on your mind?
Joey Chestnut and the hot dogs. As a wrestler, you can't eat that much.
No, you
don't
can't.
make your weight class.
Not if you want to make weight, right?
No, definitely not.
Or after the weigh-in, you could put down 71 hot dogs, right?
Well, yeah, probably could. That's true. That's true.
So what's on your mind, Greg?
Well, I mean, first, I'm so impressed with all this soccer talk. I mean, Kevin, I know how much baseball you watch. I don't know how you squeeze in. You're like, oh, I watched that soccer game. I watched that soccer game. I'm impressed.
I'm slowly converting him.
He's converting me. It's the introduction of the DVR several years ago, Greg, helped. As a matter of fact, I was telling Pat off air, I actually watched the Costa Rica game live when it was happening. When they played Guatemala, I completely forgot about it. The DVR picked it up. I didn't hear anything about the semifinal game. I watched it a day and a half later without knowing anything. I still read a paper that it wasn't picked up there. And it didn't show up in any of my feeds. So I legitimately had no clue who won the game a day and a half later. So
I mean, I think you made the point maybe last week or the week before when you were talking about soccer. You have to hunt to find out updates about American soccer. It's just not covered.
Right, they're not covering it, and that was a point we were making, a few weeks ago of the irrelevancy of the men's soccer a year before the World Cup. It's the fact that you have to. That's when my son Matt was filling in for Pat that day, and you got to hunt for the soccer. The news isn't there, and it's there's three levels of sports caring. Is when you love your team. And you're happy because they're winning, when you hate your team because they're doing things that you don't like that they're doing, and then there's do they still have a team? I forgot about them.
Right.
And that's where I feel
and
like
I thought it was really telling when your son, who's in his 20s, was saying, "Yeah, none of my friends know anything about American soccer."
Right, and then when we were in our mid-20s, I mean, World Cup was in Foxborough, and they were making noise. So this would be I don't know, Pat. Let me get your thoughts on this. How big is the game against Mexico to put USA men's kind of on the map a year before World Cup?
Not on the map. Well,
I mean, to the average
anytime
viewer.
you play Mexico for a cup, it's a big game. I think their coach Pochettino made a comment after the Guatemala game about the fact that they played in the U.S. It felt like they were playing away because of the Guatemalan fan base, and he wasn't speaking negatively about the U.S. fans, but he's trying to get the players to instill in themselves the fact that soccer isn't always about just the fun of the game.
Right.
Most of these other countries, this is like do or die for them.
Right.
Like there are ramifications if they don't win. Where here it's like.
And the other problem is. Sometimes you tune in and you're like, oh, the Americans lost to Chad and tied Jamaica. You're like, well, why am I watching this?
Right. And sometimes it looks like they're going through the motions, and you got a lot has been said about their best player, Pulisic, who decided he wasn't going to play
Okay.
in the Gold Cup because he needed some time off, and you got a lot of the old U.S. guys saying, "Listen, you take time off some other time."
Right.
Right? We understand, but when you're playing for your country, the year before the World Cup is going to be held in your country.
Right.
Like, now's not the time to take time off.
Yeah. So I agree. So Greg, do you watch the soccer much? Do you just kind of follow it? Are you more like Pat? You more like me? How do you feel about it?
I don't really watch much soccer. I'll tell you, I have a friend who's really into the women's soccer, and we take the train down to, I don't know, New Jersey, and we watch the team down there.
The Gotham?
Like once or twice a year.
I'm a season ticket holder.
Pat's a season ticket holder with Gotham.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
No, live games are always good. So it's like, yeah. So I always joke. I'm like, I'm the guy, and it sounds like you are too. I'm the guy they need to win over. They got, it's like they had 5,000 people at the rugby championship yesterday. Okay, they're always going to have 5,000 people. Last week, not yesterday. They're always going to have the Pats of the world that are following soccer. That's not the problem. It's you, it's me. It's like, how are you going to get me to watch? And then our kids.
I played soccer in high school, so I know the sport, and I like the sport, but it's just, like you said, you can't find it on the line. It's not in your feeds. You don't hear about it on ESPN, and, I got to tune into your show to find out what's going on.
Right. Yeah, and the difference is these other countries, I think other people have said this, it's not my take, the best athletes for these countries play soccer.
Right.
Like, if you took LeBron James in his prime, he was a soccer player, he'd be probably a phenom.
Right. And he wouldn't have been playing basketball.
We have so many other options. In other countries have come along at football and basketball, but soccer is still the biggest sport in the world for most countries, except for ours.
Yeah.
In my town, it was all the kids who weren't big enough to play football.
I laugh at that, but I think you're right. It's a lot of the kids that grew up, when I grew up in Cumberland, a lot of kids of Portuguese descent who were first generation Portugal. That were living in Cumberland. They were playing soccer when I moved to Attleboro, North Attleboro. Football is king, and it's kind of like what you said, Greg. It's they try to get you there to play football, and okay, the kids are not playing football. All right, well, we'll go play soccer then. So yeah. So interesting. Yeah. All right.
I got another one for you. Is about a month and a half ago, you guys were interviewing a guy from the Savannah Bananas.
Oh yeah, Nate Kelly.
And I got all psyched up, and so now I'm going tonight to go see them.
He's actually a member of the Party Animals. The Bananas. I'm not sure who they're playing tonight.
They're playing the Firemen.
Yeah, the Firemen.
Fire something.
Basically, how it's structured, Greg. There's 4 teams. You got the Bananas and then the Party Animals. They're like 1 and 1A, and then the other 2 teams are like they play like half the amount of games as the Bananas and the Party Animals. Word is that they want to kind of like expand it a little bit. And make the Bananas the Party Animals as big as the Bananas, and they want to expand it to like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 teams. So, so they'll have like a West Coast version of the Bananas and an East Coast version, so they can play and sell out both sides of the country at the same time. So they got to be
careful not to overdo it because it's kind of a novelty, and if it's if there's 8 teams that are playing every night, they're going to lose the steam. But I'm kind of psyched to go tonight because, it's a big deal now.
It is a big deal. And I think, you're right. I don't want to overdo it. But I think just a small expansion because they're not in Fenway tonight for a 3-game series. They're in Fenway for an event. Then they'll move on to some minor league stadium. Then they'll play a football stadium. But they'll play 3 games over the course of 5 or 6 days. There's no double headers. It's a 2-hour time limit, which parents of little kids love that. It's like going to the Globetrotters. It's
just like the Globetrotters.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny to read the comments from haters. Like, well, you're not forced to go to the game. If you're going tonight to expect a 12-inning extra inning classic that may take 4 hours, you're going to the wrong place.
I'm not looking for Pedro and Roger in a pitcher stool.
Exactly. So you're going to see some entertainment. You're going to see a lot of people having fun, and the game is over. If it starts at 7:05, it's going to be over at 9:05.
Yep.
And if
I'm psyched. And I heard all about it on your show. I had heard about it before, but I got psyched up from your show. So
cool. It's actually we're due to probably have Nate on again to join us. It's been a couple months. See how he's going halfway through the season.
So they're in Fenway 2 nights, so tonight and tomorrow.
Oh, they got a 2-game series.
So 2-game series. I think they do 2-game series everywhere. They've sold out every game, every series except for there's one in August in Louisiana, and then there's either they probably haven't started selling tickets for September yet, but all those series in September, wherever they are still available.
Yeah, I mean, and that crowd, Greg. I used to coach with a woman, and she brought her, at the time, 14-year-old daughter and 5-year-old son, and that's who they're going after. The moms with the younger kids, or the families with the younger kids, and
I've watched it. They've showed a few on ESPN.
Yeah,
I've watched them. Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. If these guys are athletes, they all played professionally. They just didn't make it to the show. So it's a good brand of ball. So what time is the game tonight? Is it 7?
I want to say 5.
Go ahead, you can say it.
Yeah, it might be at 5 is when they warm up and all. I don't know. We're getting there at 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah.
So, but whatever time it is, I'm going to have a good time at it.
All right, enjoy finding a place to park. I think it's only $50 to $100 to park, depending where you go. So,
Exactly.
so you might want to take the train in. So it's all right. Well, Greg, happy 4th of July. I hope you have a great time tonight and enjoy the rest of your 4th of July weekend.
You too, guys. Great show. I always enjoy calling in.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
7 o'clock tonight.
7 o'clock, Greg. If you're still listening, 7 o'clock tonight is the game.
But
you
get
still
in
get there
early.
at 4. Get better parking, right? So.
Yep. I'm always park at Riverside on the Green Line.
Riverside?
Take
Right near LaSalle?
Trolley in.
I used to park in Brookline, right by, we used to call it the Holy Building, where you take a right to go to the hospitals, you take a left, and then they put up no parking signs a couple of years ago. It was a mile walk in, but it was free. So
there you
go. But then they took that away from me. So, all right. So thanks to Greg from Miss Squamish talking some soccer, talking some banana ball, and yeah, it does remind me to we gotta get Nate. He agreed to come back on. So good a time as any, sometime in July to get him to call in. Have you been to a banana? Or?
I have not.
No.
I mean, as fast as the tickets come out, they sell.
Yeah,
so
they sell out.
I haven't been able to.
We'll see if he's.
I had a couple buddies who got tickets and were selling them as like a fundraiser.
Okay.
For the Pan Mass Challenge they do every year, and
huge
so
fundraiser.
they were selling like 100 tickets total, towards it. So we're only going to sell 100 chances to win 2 tickets to the Savannah Bananas or 4 tickets, whatever it was. So
it's pretty cool. Again, if you're looking for the perfect game of baseball, it's not what it is. It's like going to a Globetrotter game.
It's a family event.
It's a family event.
I don't think like the HNIA guys are going to go get Savannah Banana tickets and go in and watch it.
No.
But,
But you have a good time. Go in with an open mind with it, and that, again, like taking the kids to the Globetrotters.
Right.
They better not be launching 3/4 court shots at the Celtics game, unless time's expiring. But that's what they do in.
Unless you're Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, unless you're Peyton Pritchard and the clock's expiring. So all right, the phone lines are open: 401-766-1240. As you can tell, we're talking anything. We're talking soccer. We're talking Savannah Bananas, and everything's on the table. It's July 4th weekend, Independence. We're free to talk about anything we want today. We're going to take when we take our next break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Bruins a little bit, but we still also want to get into the Celtics and the Red Sox as well. So give us a call, 401-766-1240. You're in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and WoonSoccerRadio.com.
When you visit State Line Services website, you'll see a wealth of information about them and the 20 kinds of specialties they offer, including cooling system maintenance, emission testing, exhaust systems, and computerized engine analysis. Because today's vehicles are a complicated piece of equipment with a network of sensors that monitor your vehicle's performance. In other words, you need an expert. State Line Service and Tire Center, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. 765-0146. New customers are welcome.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Service Master by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation, emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
Are you looking to beautify your property this spring? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this spring? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
We're local and live at 99.5 FM, ON, AM, and FM.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. We are live here on July 5th, and we want to thank Greg from Esquamicut for calling in. Phone lines are open, 401-766-1240. So let's just jump over to the Bruins right now. They made a lot of moves this week, and Pat, why don't you get us going on this? I mean, how do you want to start with the Bruins? Draft, signings? What do you think? I'll let you kind of kick it off. I got my thoughts, but
I thought they had a pretty good draft.
Yeah.
I think most of the experts out there are saying they had a very quality draft. I think some of the grades I've seen A minus. Obviously on the top end, we have a couple friends that aren't huge fans of the BC.
The BC connection?
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Right.
Hagens, I think, was a steal. I think any other, last year at this time, he would have gone probably first overall. I don't care what college he plays for. So hopefully they could develop him a little bit more. But.
I did get an advanced scouting report from one of our loyal listeners, Pete from Douglas, who likes to call in when we're doing field hockey. But he just said, I think we will have a new first-line center come the end of the college season. He went up there to check out the training camp, and I just said, he impressed you that much? And he said, yeah, he did. Again, first day on skates, but... Hagens impressed Pete from Douglas, so...
Yeah, the kid's he's dynamic. And as I think we touched base a little bit earlier the week or the end. Yeah, I didn't realize that he went to
Mount St. Charles. Yeah, so we may have
hockey academy. I think you.
Yeah, we might have Matt 14, Campanelli 15. Back on the show. I mean, yeah, former Mount St. Charles product. He was on the U15 team that won nationals, playing in Mount's junior program as a 14-year-old. So I went back and forth with Matt Campanelli, and we may have him on.
I don't know if he lived at Rhode Island for a short period of time too, because he played for the lacrosse for the Rhode Island State. Like a lacrosse team that won the nationals too.
Back then, and it's only been a couple of years, Mount St. Charles was in the Interscholastic League, and they left to join a multi-letter New England.
Yeah, the NESCAC.
Thank you. But at that time, Mount was building up they still had our Interscholastic League hockey team, but they were building up their junior team, and the kids, they didn't necessarily have to be from Rhode Island. They just had to go to school at Mount as they built up that hockey program, so they probably had the kids play lacrosse. Is that what you just said? Hagens played.
Yeah, I think he played growing up in Long Island too. Obviously, lacrosse is huge there.
Huge down there. So he probably just continued playing. They probably have a system. It could be modeled after the European system. Hey, you're skating 9 months out of the year. Take 3 months off. Hey, it's lacrosse season, and a lot of hockey players do play lacrosse anyway. So it's just to get some different muscles going anyway. So it's early signs are good on Hagens.
Yeah, sorry, not the NESCAC. That's the college. NEPSAC. The New England Prep School.
That's right,
Athletic.
yeah. The first one, NESCAC, that's a Division III college level.
Yeah, so, I thought they had a good draft. Free agency, obviously July 1st. You have to wait. Obviously the big signing, if you will, was Tanner Jeannot, which I don't get it, I guess. Maybe they're taking a flyer on him. He's played last year in L.A. Does Sturm have any connection? I'm assuming, yes.
He did play in the Marco Sturm, because I know Sturm was the AHL coach, but they know each other, through the system and everything.
So, obviously his rookie year in Nashville was the best of his career. He had 24 goals, or whatever.
And 17 assists, I think.
17 assists, 130 penalty minutes. He's going to be I say he's probably going to be a third, fourth line, probably fourth line.
Enforcer type,
and hopefully he can score. A lot of people are comparing him to Frederick,
who just signed a max contract out in Edmonton, which I didn't understand that either.
And I don't think Frederick is that good.
No, Frederick.
He's streaky.
Frederick. I always looked at Trent Frederick as he's fine.
Yeah, solid player.
He's fine. You didn't get goosebumps watching him on the ice. It
so
wasn't,
I guess I'd
good.
rather them sign a Tanner Jeannot at 5 years, 3.4 than a
max contract.
A max contract with Trent Fredericks.
Right, but I'm okay with not having
either.
So
the challenge is that I don't think they did anything in free agency that really wowed me. I mean, they brought Sean Corrali back on a 2-year deal.
And I forget who Corrali reminds me of. He reminds me of a player. If I hear the name, I'll say, yeah, that's him. And I forget. He played in the Bruins last year. And he was like a Corrali. He was back with the Bruins. And, Corrali's back. He was gone? He's that type of player. He pops up. He plays his 55 to 60 games. He gets his, 8 goals and 7 assists. He's a +1 or a -2, and he's just kind of there. He's like, oh, he's back with the Bruins. I didn't know he left. That's how I felt about Crowley. Now, it's short money. He knows the system, I guess. I mean,
he's
it's a new system.
Bottom 6 forward.
Yeah.
They signed this kid, Michael Isamont, a 2-year deal. I don't know much about him. He played in Tampa, San Jose, and Winnipeg. He was in Tampa last year. He had 9 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah. He's played in 200. I'm looking now. He played in 213 NHL games. 25 goals, 31 assists. Divide that by basically 3. So you're looking at 8 goals and 10 assists is his average. If you play over an 80 game season. So it's
this kid, Alex Steves. They signed him. He was Toronto Marlies AHL leading scorer, 36 goals, 26 assists, all at the AHL level. I think he had 2 points in 7 games with the Leafs last year. He's from Minnesota.
He's young. He's 25,
he's a young guy,
so now's his time.
Again, nothing that jumps off the sheet is like, oh, wow, they filled a need, I thought that we'd probably see, and maybe we still will, and I think I mentioned it to you, will they try to move Corpusalo?
Yeah, I think they are. One of those signings too. I didn't see it here. I believe that DiPietro just signed a 2-year. I think 825. I think I read that on the bottom line. I didn't even see it on their website, or I missed it. DiPietro, as we know, kind of emerged last year as the Providence goalie of choice, basically, and did very well. Had great numbers last year, and I think Corpusalo is set to make about 3.5. So I could see them getting out underneath that. Going with DiPietro, obviously you got Swayman. Now you've got $9 million with Swayman and DiPietro's contract. Now you got $9 million dedicated to the goalie position instead of 12.5 to 13, which is the reason why they didn't go after Allmark last year, because you would have had to dedicate $16 million and a half, $16.5 million. You can't dedicate that much money.
And if you're paying a guy that much money, you have to give him. If you're paying a guy $8.5 million. You have to give him.
He's your guy.
Most of the starts.
Right.
You can't have 2 guys making that.
No, exactly. So, and then Corpusalo, they brought him in cheaper than Allmark, half the price, a little bit under that. And now you're bringing in DiPietro. I'm assuming, Corpusalo's on his way out. Maybe they're going to give him a chance. Hopefully they trade him for something. And this is nothing against Corpusalo. I actually think he played pretty well overall last year as a backup goalie.
But they're handcuffed by the salary cap.
Right.
to a certain degree still because of some of the moves. Now, I think Sweeney's done a good job overall dealing with salary cap restrictions as he came in to the position. But, again, anyone who thinks they're going to come out this year and be, this is a rebuild.
It's a rebuild that could surprise with the big capital I, capital F, question mark, if.
Yeah.
If Hampus Lindholm comes back. If Charlie McAvoy is back and healthy. If Swayman can rebound with good defensemen in front of him and play stronger.
Yeah.
If Pavel Zacha, who scored a ton in the IIHF Worlds at the end of the year overseas. If Pasternak. If Geeky. It's like, if they all play up to par, over par, like they did 2 years ago, then they got a chance to surprise some people. However, after what happened last year, I think expectations are so low,
right,
on the Bruins.
And do we see any of these young Providence guys like a Merkelov or a Lysell? Do they force them into a role with the Bruins this year?
Right.
I could see Merkelov. I thought he played fairly well when he was up. But
no, he was fine.
I don't know where they fall are they top 6 forwards? Are they,
And you look at these signings, and again, I mean, Corrali's the most known guy. He's making the most out of the group. But I mean, they're not first or second line guys at all. I hesitate to call him third line guy. I mean, you can only put so many guys on the fourth line. And you got Jeannot. So, and back to Jeannot. And if you have any thoughts on the Bruins or anything else on your mind that you're just looking to talk about, give us a call, 401-766-1240. Join us in the cheap seats. Tanner Jeannot, I did hear that on one report card of grading the draft picks, he wasn't an F, but he was a D. It's the 5 years that's getting me. I mean, you can't blame Jeannot for taking that contract or his agent, but I'm not sure why the Bruins are offering 5 years for a guy that hasn't really scored much since his rookie year.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Right. So I mean, the only thought process I heard is basically, and they summarized this, that the Bruins, he's going to be a leader in the locker room, which tells me that they don't have any real leadership in the locker room. I guess Pasta, but I don't know how much. He doesn't play defense, so maybe they're looking for somebody else there. McAvoy, maybe he hasn't earned it yet. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And everybody else is gone. But for 5 years, though, it just to be a leader and an enforcer on the ice to protect these guys. I don't know. 5 years. I feel like if you had to sign him, he's 28. I think you could have got him for 3 years, or 2,
right?
Even at the same $3.4 million. I mean, were you surprised by the 5 years, Pat?
Yeah, for sure. In the money, and I think a lot of people are saying this guy's a 1.5. He's $1.5 million.
He's $1.5 million at
player.
3 years.
So
what he's making in 1 year is what he should have got for his total, is what you're hearing.
Yeah, over 3 years.
So,
but
I looked it up, and because when I saw his numbers and I saw his size, he reminded me of a former Bruin that I didn't realize had a real good career up until his final 3 years, including one with the Bruins. I looked him up. Willie Plett. For those of you that may have remembered him, he played with the Atlanta and Calgary Flames. He also played with the Minnesota North Stars. So you can, just shows you how far back I'm going with him. But he was at the end of his career, 65 games with the Bruins, 2 goals, 3 assists. 67 games the year before, I think he was 7 goals, 10 assists. Back in his prime, he was a 20 or 30 goal scorer. For many years with the Flames and the North Stars organizations. But his last 3 years, he put up Tanner Jeannot numbers with the same number of penalty minutes. So that's what it felt like they were getting, is a watered-down version of a Willie Plett. For you Bruins fans out there, I haven't said that name since 1988, I don't think.
Right? I remembered him because I don't know who I was just trying to look it up to see who he did. He headbutted somebody in a fight.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that off air, yeah.
Trying to see who that player was. I want to say it was when he was on the Bruins, but I could be wrong. It might have happened before they got him, but yeah.
In his 1 year with the Bruins, 65 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points, minus 10, 170 penalty minutes. The year before, 6 goals, 5 assists, 261 penalty minutes. The year before that, 10 goals, 7 assists, a minus 22, 231 penalty minutes. He actually had, in a 15-goal, 23-assist season, he had 316 penalty minutes 1 year. But he also had a 38-goal season. He had many in a 33 plus several of 20. So if Jeannot could get back to his rookie format,
right, and that's obviously what they're probably hoping for.
You know, they're giving him a chance. I just not a fan of.
Chance.
Yeah, a big chance on that. So, all right. So overall, you're happy with the draft.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all? I'll ask you one more before we head to our final break. Any thought to 6 Bruins guys playing for Boston College? Is it too much? There's 3 North Dakota guys that are signed with the Bruins as well.
The
so
kid
it's
Zellers, who's a stud.
Yeah.
So
it's not just Boston College.
Yeah. I mean, is there? I'm sure they like that because they're right here. They can go see them anytime they want.
Yeah.
You know. So, and what came out of the training camp was Letourneau played 3/4 of the season last year with a broken hand.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
so,
very interesting.
Anyway.
So, all right, so let's take our final break. When we come back, we'll finish up with the Bruins if there's anything left. A little bit of Celtics, definitely some Red Sox. Interesting article came out by Nick Koloff. I want to reference, but if you have any thoughts on anything in sports, 401-766-1240. Join us in the Chief Seats. Go ahead.
Little trivia too.
Oh,
when we get
that's
back.
right. We have
First time in sports history. What happened?
Yep.
This past year?
We have a pitcher that just threw. He's now one of 3 pitchers to throw 3,000 strikeouts in his career for the same team. Who are the other 2? The player we're talking about is Clayton Kershaw. He just threw. So he's now at 3,000 strikeouts for the Dodgers. Lots of others are at 3,000 plus. But who are the only 2 other pitchers that throw 3,000 strikeouts for their team? All right, answer that question. We have no prizes to give out, but we do have an answer to give out. So, all right, join us back for our last segment in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, WoodSoccerRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC. Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And this week's special at Michael's Meats, he has fresh grade A chicken drumsticks for just 99 cents a pound. So get that chicken drumsticks going on the grill for the rest of the 4th of July weekend. They're open. They were closed yesterday. They are open today. So chicken drumsticks, just 99 cents a pound at Michael's Meats. And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, joined as always by my co-host Pat Holland. And all right, really quick on the Celtics before we jump into the Sox. And if you have any thoughts, Bruins, soccer, Joey Chestnut, anything, give us a call, 401-766-1240. Luke Cornett, gone. Horford, Al Horford, rumored to be going to the Warriors, which I wasn't expecting Horford back anyway. I was thought he might have been retiring and not coming back to the Celtics. Now I'm hearing rumored to go into the Warriors. Either way, he's not coming back to the Celtics. So I read up a little bit more on the 7-footer that they picked, Amari Williams, who's from England, who played at Kentucky, I believe, this past year, and he came from another organization, another college. He signed a 2-way contract to play either up in Portland or Boston. I think with what's happening and his defense, he actually shot 58% from the field. It almost seems like he's a bit of a throwback to your 7-foot centers that we kind of grew up watching. And his defense is there, block shots. I'm not saying he's Robert Parrish for you people from the 80s, but I think he sticks with the team. If you're going to lose Horford and Cornette, I think Amari Williams is going to stay. And you go with the draft grades of things you read. He got an A. It almost sounds like the little bit I know about him. It almost sounds like it's going to be maybe a potential steal. And I'm not big into watching the summer league all that much for the basketball, which starts tomorrow. And ESPN, there are games on like 10 in the morning and all the way to 8 at night. And I know there's 2 games tomorrow, so my guess is the Celtics start Monday. But that might be an interesting one to watch in the summer league because it's the rookies, it's the free agent draft picks, and a lot of first, second, third year players on the fringe. So it's it's not the NBA, but you might be able to get a good look at what Amari Williams can bring.
A game or here or there if I can.
Yeah,
it is. I like to see what what the young guys are doing, and is somebody that is gonna catch your eye and be like, yeah, he could definitely play. I don't know what can they do about the big. I have a feeling there's still some moves that are going to be made to bring in a big.
Yeah.
I don't know if Williams can play at this level right now immediately and be thrust in, or if they'll bring him along slowly. I think he did play 4 years at Drexel before Kentucky.
The encouraging thing is that going from Drexel to Kentucky is a big step up.
Sure.
And he's still got defensive player accolades. If he got defensive, he may have even gotten defensive player of the year. That's the best he can do at the age he was at, before taking the next step anyway. So
he does only shoot 25% from 3 though. So
I don't want my 7-footers taking threes. I'm okay with them getting rebounds and shooting 60% from 2. It's okay with me.
I don't think the Celtics are done as of yet. So by the time they get to training camp, I think they're going to add a couple more pieces. But we'll see.
Completely off topic and not the pregame notes. Who's the best general manager of the 4 major teams of Breslow, Elliot Wolf, Brad Stevens, or Don Sweeney?
Oh, I mean, I'd have to give my nod to Brad Stevens.
You gotta go
right?
Brad.
I mean, everything he does seems to work, right? So
yeah, I like the Holiday trade anyway. I thought what they were giving up in age and contract, and what they got back 8 years younger and last year of a contract. I didn't think it was a bad trade. Never mind that you're trying to purge from underneath the tax. I didn't think it was a bad. I think it was a good trade just on the surface. Anyway, we'll see what happens with Simons. I know he doesn't play defense, but he does fit their mold of shooting.
Sure.
So we'll see on that. So an article switching to the Red Sox. So kind of all over the place. But there's a writer, Matt Doloff, Dolloff, wrote an article. Red Sox player. This is the title of the article. Red Sox player development is even dumber than you thought. And there's a quote here. A Red Sox front office member once told the author that he knew it was time for exit strategy when Hein Bloom was hired. When he hired a minor league field coordinator, and they declared in the first meeting, we no longer coach fundamentals. I don't get it. They don't. You see it. You've been seeing it play out all year for this 500 team. That's very frustrating. You see Roman Anthony making an error in his very first game in right field for the Red Sox. Why they put him in right field, the hardest outfield position to play in the majors is right field at Fenway. and the next day they show them how to field a ground ball. You have rookie ball. You have 2 levels of single A ball. You have double A ball, and you have triple A ball. And the whole point, like the Woo Sox are 2-8, as we mentioned earlier, in the second half of the season, and nobody cares that they're in last place. Nobody cares that they finished in 4th place in the first half of the season. The whole point is to develop Meyer, Anthony, Campbell, Tanner Houck, whoever, to get these guys ready for the major leagues, and to see them not pay attention at any of the 5 levels of minor league ball, and to get to the majors and not know how to field, or more infuriating, run the bases. I don't know if you got a chance to see the article or not, Pat, but this is infuriating.
Yeah, I didn't, but it certainly speaks to what we see on the field, right? I mean, we see they're leading the league in errors. They're constantly running into outs.
The Romy Gonzalez trying to hit a triple
off the Green Monster, which has happened. Like I think you said.
I remember Donnie Sadler doing it. If you remember that name, we're going back at least 15, 20 years. And when he did it, I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen anybody do that before. Never seen anybody do it again, not cleanly.
Right.
It doesn't happen. And the final score ends up being 5-4.
Right. and there's no outs.
Right. He would have been on second base with no outs instead of bases empty now with 1 out.
Right. And he didn't come out of the box hard. Not that he didn't stand there,
right.
but if you're going to go first to third on a ball off the Green Monster, you better be out of the box as fast as you can and complete in full speed. It looked like he got into full speed as he turned second.
Yeah.
And by then, the play's right in front of you.
It's in front of him. But are the base coaches doing anything? I mean, you got 2 of them out there. Are they sending them? Like, I don't know. I don't know if what I did was right or wrong. Whenever I was coaching first, I saw a ball hit like that. I said, think 3 or pick up the third base coach.
Right.
Pick up the third base coach. And the
I'm not sure if they do. I'm not sure if they do teach that at the major league level. Like, pick up the third base coach. I think that's on them.
It has to be taught at some level.
I think they pick up the third base coach to come home.
Yeah.
But
that one
I don't think that. Yeah. I mean, I think. Is it fundamentally right to pick up the third base coach coming out first?
And as players get older, if the play's in front of you, like that Romy Gonzalez play was, off the Green Monster, don't go.
Right.
That's right in front of you.
It's happened too often.
Duran's getting thrown out on the bases all the time.
Yep.
And I appreciate the effort because there's at least one guy that hustles.
Right.
Every single time out of the box. I appreciate what Willie Abreu did the other day with the inside the far corner run. Though he wasn't hustling out of the box either, though that ball hit right at the top of the fence at the 420.
Right.
And then the center fielder fell. So he was able to get the inside the park home run, then the grand slam. What a day for Abreu. But it's crazy just how bad they are. You get to the majors, you're dropping $125 on a ticket or whatever you're paying. I expect that these guys that have better fundamentals than when I was coaching in 12U baseball or softball or even high school varsity. It's how do you not? How many coaches are on the staff at all these levels? Rookie ball,
a multitude of them.
So many coaches. What are they doing? Are they all just analyzing their swing? All of them? I don't.
It makes no sense.
No, so it's infuriating. So, really quick, our trivia question: Clayton Kershaw is now one of 3 pitchers to throw 3,000 strikeouts for the same team. Who were the other 2? You got a minute or 2 if you want to give us a quick call, 766-1240, before we give you the answer. Today, really quick as well, Walker Buehler starts today. Wow.
This is a big start for him.
This is huge. I think he's going to join Tanner Houck on the IL if he has another bad. I keep hearing he's close to turning a corner.
I don't know if they'll let him go. I don't think going down to the minors is going to solve his issues.
No. Are they going to come up with an injury? It's absolutely terrible what he's been doing. I mean, and then on the other hand, you got Lucas Giolito, who a month ago was thrown like Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
And then now in his last 33 innings or so, is only given up 3 runs. He's lowered his ERA. What did we say, from 6.5 to 3.6?
Yeah.
Over the course of a month. He's the guy. He actually threw 7 2/3 yesterday.
Yep.
Imagine that, a starting pitcher making it to the 8th inning or so. So it's. Yeah, they should not have blown that game against the Reds to end the series. So they took the series. They got to take the Nationals.
Yeah.
They got to take the Rockies, and then they got the All-Star break if they want any hope of a wild card.
A tough startup after the All-Star break with, I think, 3 or 4 series against good teams.
Yeah.
So.
And the Yankees fell out of first. That's always encouraging.
They did. They've lost 5. Toronto's won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
We're 6.5 back.
Still closer to last than we are to first, though. So I think the Orioles are 11 out.
11.5.
11.5. So it's still closer to last place than the first place. So and if you look, it's really the only main pennant race going on right now is the AL East. I think there's one other. I think Philadelphia, and I think they're only up by 1.5. So a race going on there as well. So, all right. So the answer to our trivia question, Clayton Kershaw. Oh, we have time for one call? Really quick? All right.
Sure.
Let's go really quick. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Al. I just wanted to take a quick guess on that baseball.
You got it.
Could it be Nolan Ryan and Bob Gibson?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Nolan Ryan and Bob Gibson.
Okay, you got one out of the two. Bob Gibson for the 75 did in 1975 with the Cardinals. Not Nolan Ryan. He played for too many teams. The other answer is Walter Johnson with the Washington Senators.
Okay, that's before my time.
Yeah, a little bit before ours too. But good guesses. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Kevin always comes up with the trivia questions.
Good show. Good show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, thank you to Alex chiming in. Got 50%, so we'll give him half prize. Half of nothing is still nothing.
Right.
But, yep, the answer to the question, now, Clayton Kershaw, one of 3 pitchers now to throw 3,000 strikeouts for the same team. Who are the other two? And Walter Johnson, the Washington Senators, 1927, and Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals, 1975. So, all right, that just about puts a wrap on the show for today. Fast-moving show. I'd like to thank Alex for calling in and trying our trivia question. We got to try some other trivia, especially baseball. That seems to get people going to come up with some interesting one. I'd like to thank Greg from Matunic/Mesquamaket, somewhere in Southern Rhode Island. I forget which beach, but he's down that way for the summer as well. But yeah, good show. Lots of fun today, Pat. Covering a whole lot of topics today in 1 hour.
July 4th weekend.
July 4th weekend, Independence weekend. All right. Well, thank you once again for joining us in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin. We'll be back next week, same time, 9 o'clock here on WOON, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSocketRadio.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Broadcasting